Hey, this is John Cruz here with your Sunline recap from Lake Guntersville. Watch some of this action. Stay tuned for all the details. Man, ended up having a better comeback on day two, but practice started out not what I was wanting to. I was going to a Tennessee River Lake, Lake Guntersville, in late June. I'm thinking ledges. I'm thinking the fish are going to be loaded. They're going to be schooled up. They're going to be on all the deep places that they normally are. And after 2 full days of practice, I'm talking 14 plus hour practice days, I found 2 schools of fish. And that was it. And that is not good for 28 plus hours on the water looking strictly for deep. I didn't even fish shallow the first 2 days of practice. So then the third day, I had to change up my practice. I ended up catching a decent number of fish, but I didn't catch any size. I caught a limit, but no size. And I was really kind of in between on what I was going to do during the tournament. So during the tournament, the first day I was thinking, I'm going to run everything where I think I can catch a fish deep. And I was throwing that, Spro Little John, DD, and a number of other things deep, and nothing was working. Both of the schools of fish that I had found, gone, vamonos. Really, really frustrating. So I really had to kind of back up and go to a little sneaky spot that I really was saving for hopefully day 2 or 3. And ended up, after a couple hours into the tournament, I went straight to that spot. And when I got in there, there was a local boat right dead on it. And man, by this time, I was borderline desperation. So I didn't just want to totally yield. I was like, I got to go in there and fish it. So I went in there and talked with the angler, and they caught one and lost one while I'm pulling up. And then once I talked with them, they were gracious enough to get off that spot and let me have it. Was able to catch 4 of my keepers there, and they were not easy to come by. I lost a decent one right off the bat on a worm, and then I started mixing up some different baits, and I started throwing the missile baits, Shockwave 3.5. I was using that frosted purple, and this is the actual setup I was using. It was a Cashin rods, micro jig rods, 7-foot. 1 inch. I had the 12-pound X Plasma Sunline braid on there, and then I had the 7-pound Sunline Sniper leader. And I feel like that the 7-pound really helps the bait have better action. It helps it roll a little bit. If you use heavier line, it'll tend to stiffen up that little swim bait. So that's why I like to go a little bit lighter on there. And I usually don't have any problems with the fish. And I used a 1/4 ounce Gamakatsu round 25 jig head is what it's called. And it's got obviously a Gamakatsu hook, and it does a good job. That's what I caught most of the fish on. Ended up catching one of those fish the first day on the Spro Mixed Stick 110. This is IU shad, man. It is a beautiful looking color, and I was throwing that on the John Cruz square bill Cashin rod. It's a 7-foot medium heavy action. It had a 14-pound test. I didn't want it to go super deep, so I had that on 14-pound Sniper with a Daiwa Tatula 100 6.3-to-1 reel, and that was the 1-2 punch. That's what I caught everything on the first day. So then the second day, I said, that's it. I'm gonna maybe stop on 1 or 2 deep places that I think there could be a fish, because if you get one out there, it's probably gonna be grown. And then I was gonna go straight to that place where I caught my 4 keepers the first day. So I rolled in there, caught a keeper on the very first cast on it, and then right after that, I made 2 or 3 more casts without anything. first cast with the jerk bait on the second morning, the old Spro mixed stick 110 came through, caught about a 4.5 pounder, and I knew this was going to be good. This was going to be good. So I started mixing it up, caught a couple more keepers there, left there, and started bouncing around and fishing more grass, more shallower grass. And when I say shallow, I mean I was fishing at 7 to 10 foot, those outer grass lines where it would make points, where it would start to get clumpy and isolated. And one of the main, I could catch plenty of fish on the jerk bait, but I only caught maybe one keeper on the jerk bait doing that around those areas. So I dropped down to the old Neko rig, and I was using this is a Jackal Flick Shake 6.8 worm. It's just a good Neko rig worm, and I had a 1/16 ounce weight in the end of it, and I had a number 1 Gamakatsu finesse G finesse split shot drop shot hook in there with 10-pound Sunline Sniper as my leader to a 12-pound X Plasma braid, and I had that on the John Cruz drop shot rod, 7'4" with a Daiwa ballistic reel. That was my setup for the Neko rig, and that's what I really went to work with on the second day. I probably caught 6 or 8 keepers on this alone. I feel like if I would have thrown this the first day of the tournament, I just never slowed down enough to throw it. If I'd have thrown it the first day of the tournament, I'm sure I would have caught a few more decent fish in those grassy areas. I caught one over 4 on this the second day, and that gave me 17.5 pounds the second day, which jumped me from, after the first day I only had 12.5 pounds, was all the way down there in the high 50s, jumped all the way up to 42nd place. So I got a lot of points. I didn't make day 3. Very disappointed about that, but I got some points back. Didn't fall too far in the AOI standings. Now we got us a little break before we go up north to New York, and we got ICAST sandwiched in between. So got a lot of time to think about Guntersville and kind of what I did wrong and what I'm going to do right next time I go back there. But going to be ready for that New York swing come August. So be sure to stay tuned for my next Sunline recap coming up in August. There it is. All right. You get it the same way. Trying new places. Okay. There's that one. Good fish here. Boy. Yeah. Bug-eyed sucker there. On that a couple years ago. Come on now.
No shit. I don't know if he'll do it.
Yeah, brother.
Get in here.
There you go.
There he is.
Dang.
White bass, I think.
That's all right. Sure? Oh, there you go.
It's a little guy.
I don't know. Might be close. Huh?
I wonder if he felt big.
Yeah, brother.